Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another month of the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit Stand-Up. I'm your host and the only one standing up today, Brandon Minnick. So thanks so much for coming back. Normally, this is where we hang out and chat about ideas, what we're working on, but since it's just me today, and we've been doing some really cool stuff for bindable properties, I want to jump in and show you what we got so far because it's really really cool. Really proud of what we've been able to do just since last month's stand up, and see what you think. Because right now we're thinking about maybe releasing this to the world. So let me pull my screen back up here, and let's show off some code because look at all this. This is the touch behavior. So we're in the touch behavior class in the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit repo here. And one thing you'll notice, there's no bindable properties anywhere in this file. They're all gone. They're all deleted. We've been deleting thousands of lines of code to implement bindable property, which is amazing. And so what we can do here, if I have this set up right, yes. So just show you, I did the keyboard shortcut, but if we say go to declaration, boop, that'll take us to the generated code for touch behavior now, where we can find all of the source generated bindable properties. So this is exactly what you would expect. You'd have your, we have our is enabled property. And then by using the partial property or the partial keyword on the property, then we can also write that property for you, pointing to the bindable property. And I see Cliff just joined. What's going on, Cliff?
Hey, just realised I don't have headphones. Stand by.
Sorry, I clicked on you as soon as you left.
There you go.
No worries. Yeah, I was a little lonely, but I figured we'd show off the bindable properties today that we've been working on.
Yeah.
Or the
I'm not
bindable
sure
properties
it's
source generator, I should say.
Yeah, I think they're really good. I used them for, I forgot which one I did now. Which one did I do last week? It was the rating view, wasn't it? Updated rating view.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was actually fairly painless with the new bindable properties. At first, I thought to myself, it's not saving that many keystrokes because you're still writing the whole kind of bindable properties. Yeah. But then you go further down, then you got the actual initializers and everything else, and it saves a lot, and it makes it a lot easier to understand as well. So I was quite happy with that actually. So.
Yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised. I mean, it took some iteration. So, well, just to finish the tour real quick. If anybody hasn't seen this before, Pedro actually started this work, about a year ago, and I think last month's stand-up, it kind of bubbled up to the top, and we're like, hey, why aren't we doing anything with this? This is pretty cool. So we spent the whole last month rewriting, or not rewriting the source generator, but implementing all the edge cases. So, like, what do you do if it's got a protected set? What do you do if it's read-only? And how do you generate that code? Actually, well, check that out. It actually generated the code in real time here on the right. So the answer, will generate a read-only bindable property for you. So if you were doing this yourself, you would say bindable property.create read-only, and then you would use the bindable property key, the bindable property key's bindable property for the public property that you expose. And then obviously your partial property is just a read-only, so just a getter. But even, things like, what if you have a private set? We'll do it in real time? Yes, that's so cool. So yeah, you can do things with, like, you can have a property that is publicly read-only. So if you're building your own library, maybe you still need to be able to change the property internally, but your users, but you don't want your users to be able to do that. So you can have a private set. And when you do things like that, then you need access to the that read-only bindable property key. And so that's what we do for you here too. So yeah, there's a lot of these edge cases that that we're missing that James was huge on helping out with. Yeah, Cliff, you did an awesome job with the rating view PR, and it even goes a little farther. Like, where's a nice complex one?
You can also do things like do verify, like when you're setting the property, you can get it to do a verification and the likes as well. And then you got the on property change and on property change in, and you taught me something about that as well. I can't remember which way around it was now. It's changing happens before it's updated.
Oh yeah,
I think that was it. Yeah.
So let's see, where's my IntelliSense? Default value equals verify. Validate
Property. Yeah.
We'll just put in something here just so get rid of the red squiggles. And then yeah, there's also property changing. So yeah, one thing I learned going through this whole process was kind of the order of operations for bindable properties. So like you were just saying, Cliff, when you pass a new value into a bindable property, the first thing it'll do is run this validate method. And this is a method you would write yourself to return a Boolean that you can use to essentially ignore an input. So if, for example, I mean, we're doing this all on this enum touch status, which actually maybe this is a good example. So touch status only has 1, 2, 3 values. But enums are also just ints. So somebody could pass in, a touch status of 5, which doesn't exist. And if they did that, then validate value just wouldn't accept it. Essentially, it would fail silently. If you look closely in your .NET MAUI logs, validate value .NET MAUI handles the validate value method by, if it returns false, then they'll put a little output in the log saying like input was incorrect. So essentially, it fails silently, and it's not a great error message because it doesn't tell you why it's incorrect. It's just a default internal trace log. But assuming that passes, assuming the value is valid, then property changing is the next method that runs. So it's like, hey, this new value is acceptable and we're about to change it. Is there anything you want to do before this property changes? So for some of our PRs, let's see, speaking of rating view, and shout out to George, the author of rating view. So when we first created rating view, let's see if I can find one example. There we go. So, or what's a better way to show this off? Let's pretend like this isn't here. So when we first created a rating view, we did something like this, where the setter was doing validation. So it's like if, this isn't the best example because it's shape border thickness. Well, maybe we could probably say like if value is less than 0, that actually might be what we're validating. Then we'll throw in out of range exception or something like that. So this was how our property existed before, and then obviously field equals value if it is valid. So yeah, when we were rewriting this, what we did, actually maybe let's keep this. I'll just comment it out. We'll do maybe something like that, something like this. There we go. So in order to keep this throws validation, what we're doing is putting that inside of property changing. So before the property changes, before that value, before field equals value is set down here, then yeah, property changing we override that and throw out argument range exception. So everything should be still the same, albeit when we release this, or our next Community Toolkit MAUI release, I'm going to advocate that we bump the major version to indicate that there's breaking changes, although shouldn't be. Kind of just in case. Oh, Vlad's here too. Welcome, Vlad.
Yeah, hello. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too. Sorry, I was all alone when we started, so I figured we showed off our awesome bindable property source generator. So let's see. Scrolling back up, there we go. So basically, this has everything you need, everything you might want, where you can set your default values, your property change method names, your property changing method names, and as we start implementing it for every feature, we start to kind of uncover these edge cases. So what we've been doing is we have these unit tests now. So if you come into unit test for the source generator, then you can see all the different cases that we are handling and we're aware of. And so if there is any other corner cases, edge cases that we haven't thought of, please feel free to submit a PR. You could just add the unit test and watch it fail. And then I can update the source generator accordingly if you're not familiar with source generators. But basically the way the unit tests work is you have your source class. So this is just a string. And with this little comment, it's kind of cool because it highlights the string as C# code. So you can actually read it, which is nice. But yeah, we create a string that says, in this case, it's a bindable property for this property called text. And then this is what we expect the source generator to generate. And then the way I've set it up is you just call verify source generator async, passing in that source, passing in the expected generated file, and it should just work. You just want to make sure you use the default test namespace and test class name. That's kind of how I configured the verification down here. So all these are pretty straightforward. Like if you create one with a default value, it should create it. You should create it properly. This one was a little weird with the new keyword. So if you wanted to override something, like in our expander, we override the content property. And so if you have the new keyword, then the new keyword also has to appear here. And if you want to look at the really weird cases, like this is one that Pedro found in a PR, I think just last week, where he was like, hey, just so you know, enums could also be longs. They could be bytes. They could be ranges. I didn't know that. This is something I've been doing C# for a decade now, and I didn't know you could have anything other than an int enum. And he's like, what if you have a long max value? That was breaking our source generator. So all sorts of weird edge cases. Like nullable value types. So like, what do you do can we handle nullable ints? Of course. Arrays started breaking in if you're doing undefined multi-dimensional arrays, all sorts of crazy stuff. But the good news, like very long namespaces. But I think we've got all these covered. So I don't know, Vlad, Cliff, what do you think? Because I was leaning towards thinking about releasing this as a new NuGet package, at least for now. We could do like a pre-release of community toolkit.maui.bindable property generator. I don't know what we name it. But the thought being pushing it out as its own library as a pre-release first, kind of like let everybody else test the waters before we promote it to stable, or promote it or just release it with the .NET MAUI community toolkit, like community toolkit.maui NuGet package. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
If you are muted, probably. If you're talking. Yeah, while you are muting, I can answer. Yeah. So from my side, I think the only issue with releasing another NuGet package is that people will start using it. And if we want to switch back to use it as a part of Community Toolkit MAUI, it will be harder for them to understand what package they need to use, why that package is unsupported or something like that. Probably better to start releasing it as a preview feature directly in Community Toolkit MAUI. They will have like warning on something that this is still in preview, use at your own risk, whatever we name it. Yeah, and that's it. So it can be a part of preview features. So like new XAML generator in MAUI, so they need to enable it directly in, like opt in directly in CSproj file. So probably it will be simpler for us for future just to disable it directly without like supporting another package, because even for now we already have 4 packages that needs to be released. If we have more and more, maybe it will be harder for us to just support all of them.
Yeah, that seems also to be the consensus. George, Matt, Kanan also saying just, put it in there. And because isn't preview, like, isn't there a thing in .NET now where you can just like label something as a preview feature that needs to be opted into? Is that baked in, or am I just making that up? I thought I saw something like that. Ah, dang. I still can't hear you, Cliff. I can see your lips moving, though.
How about now?
Hey, yeah.
AirPods not working. I'm kind of torn. I think it needs to be preview. I like the idea of it being a separate library. I think I can't remember it was now. Someone put community called toolkit.maui.sourceGenerator. Like Vlad says, that's another then kind of separate library needs to be maintained. So it's kind of damn you do, damn you don't. But wasn't it something that Pedro was saying about an issue with having source generators, and you're not sure which one's going to run first, so you might get clashes. So there was an issue there that I know Pedro was highlighting on Discord the other day. There's a risk that we just need to be careful of. So that kind of then leans towards making it a separate package, so that you try it, see if it works, if it doesn't, turn it on.
Yeah, I was just scrolling through real quick to see if I could find that PR. Oh, here we go. I can't believe I found this. Let me bring this up on the screen real quick. There we go. So yeah, this did get merged. But that said, I really don't know anything about this. Yeah, other than there was a concern on the MAUI team that because there's the XAML source generators now, that our bindable property source generator could, call some conflicts, or I guess it's the fact that one could run before the other. Like this XAML source generator could run first, and then our generator would run, and I guess that would cause red squiggles. But they did merge this. So
I suppose on top of it all as well, you've got the MVVM source generators as well, which a lot of people use. So that's 3 kind of source generators all fighting over the same kind of profile.
It's true. Yeah, you have your bindable properties, then you have your observable properties.
yeah. There could be quite a lot in there.
Yeah. Okay. So,
I like what George is saying. It requires preview features.
There it is, and that is baked into .NET, right? Let's see. It requires preview features. Yeah. Okay, cool. So maybe we can take advantage of something like this and move forward with the recommendation / consensus. Yeah, to just just put it in communitytoolkit.maui, put it behind a preview flag, let people know you can try it, but maybe it's not quite ready yet. And I think the other thing it will be to follow up with the .NET MAUI team here to make sure that they give us the thumbs up and say like, yeah, go ahead and do it. You won't, otherwise you'll risk breaking every MAUI app in the world. But yeah, it has been nice. I agreed. Like you were saying earlier, Cliff, like deleting all that code. Whew. Like I can never remember the whole bindable property.create syntax and just slapping the attribute.
Yeah. It's also the fact that you end up with a bit there, a bit there, a bit there, a bit there. It's like it's kind of broken apart, isn't it? It's not all in one section. Whereas now with the bindable properties, it's all, if it's a simple property, it's just the one line and that's it. It's done. Well, two technically, but it's not like a bit up there and then you can scroll further down to find the getter and setter and the like. So I do quite like it. It's nice and neat. My little brain can cope with it. So it's good, but obviously you just need to make sure it doesn't break people when we push it out there, because otherwise they'll come looking for us.
Yep. We've gotten yelled at for our source generators and analyzers before, for also causing poor performance in Visual Studio. So trying to avoid that. I created a benchmark for this source generator as well, so we can also keep an eye on any updates we make to the source generator. Is it adding memory allocations or increasing the CPU time? So hopefully we don't. Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. What I'd love to do is, continue moving forward, implementing it in the rest of our app. Because, like I said, there's these weird edge cases around, like, what if it has a new keyword, or what if it's a private setter? What do we do for that? Where, if we're experiencing those in our app, likely somebody else out there will be experiencing it in their app, and so we should at least cover all of our all of our crazy edge cases. And then I'm sure there's going to be another dozen edge cases we've never thought of, or like I was saying earlier with enums that I never even knew about. So, I think that'd be good. So, let's see. Any other thoughts on bindable properties? Because there is a couple things on the agenda that we can circle back to.
Yeah, I've just thought about bindable property. It's like, well, right now I've just thought about a new syntax that can be added, probably like is in C#, like a new keyword bindable, like public bindable string property name gets set. Like we have a required, why we not have a bindable, for example, in MAUI, but I don't know if it's possible to add a new keyword directly in C# or it's just usually handled by attribute. Maybe in C# 11, 12.
That'd be crazy. I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I don't think you can create your own custom keywords. But maybe. I don't know. Rosalind's open source, right?
Yeah, the only thing that C# needs to understand it and compiler needs to understand it. Yeah, it's the only one requirement for them.
Cool. So yeah, let's keep chugging along with implementing that attribute in the rest of our library, and then I
think the advantage is if we do it in the rest of the community toolkit, we're going to dog food it, and we might find those edge cases that we don't know about before we put it out there. So you might be, we mentioned it on the stream last month, maybe kind of come mid-January, we'll have the other bits done, and then we can maybe push it out then. Not break people over Christmas, because they really will come looking for us then. But it gives us a bit of time to kind of, dog food it a little bit more and make sure that we're not going to cause any issues before we push it out there. That's my thoughts anyway.
Yeah. So So yeah, to set expectations, I agree. I don't think we're getting this out before Christmas. So enjoy the rest of the holidays, and then I think it's a safe bet to say probably sometime in January we'll finish adding this to Community Toolkit and hopefully fixing all the edge cases. And so yeah, probably February would be the first release where we'd share it with the world. But yeah, super exciting, and hopefully encourages more people to create their own custom controls, and because it removes that friction and the difficulty with doing it. I know when I first was creating like my first custom controls, it's like why do I have to do all this weird stuff just to make it bindable? And then you immediately forget how to do it until you have to do it again in a couple months or a year later, and you have to start digging up old code or reading the docs again. So moving on to the next item on the agenda. James isn't here with us, but he implemented this Android service update. He brought this up in a stand-up a while ago, and it's really good. I have no excuse for why I haven't reviewed it, merged it yet, other than just time. But essentially what he's doing is replacing the media control service. Instead of inheriting from just the generic service, he's now has it inheriting from media session service, which is baked into Android. And essentially what that allows us to do is delete tons of code. So he's wiped away these two files with this change. And I remember we talked about this, and nobody had anything bad to say other than like, yeah, this is great. It's actually what it should be now. So I don't know if Vlad or Cliff, if you have any updates, or if you chatted with James on this one specifically, but I think I assume he wants us to review it and merge it.
I've not been paying attention to what he's done, but was this also the one where he was saying it was to update to the latest Android libraries as well? So it was saying with, I seem to be remembering, though it might be another PR that he opens that was, it's moving. That's it. Yeah, it's moving for XO player across the Media 3 player, the Android X player. There you go.
Yeah, so I don't see any edits to like the CS Proj. So I don't think he's adding in, or I don't think this PR requires any new libraries.
It must have been something else. I just seem to remember him talking about it on the Discord about updating it so that it was to newer Android libraries rather than the older ones.
Yeah, that must be
maybe
what
not.
This is.
Maybe I'm just misremembering.
It's another PR where he updated all packages to the latest versions. But as for this one, looks like pipeline is green. Nobody can stop us from approving and matching it.
Just
if something is wrong, it's Copilot who haven't found the bug.
Okay. Yeah. So what? After we get off, I'll just run it. I'll just spin up the sample app and just click on. We have a couple edge cases around media element, so I'm sure James already did, but I'll review those real quick, and if it works, I'll merge this in for you, James. All right. There's only two more. Nice short holiday version of the stand-up. But I want to bring this one up because this is something we should be addressing. But I don't know if this is the right way to do it. So want to chat with you guys about this before moving forward. So the bug comes with putting a collection view inside of pop-up. So my first reaction was, why would you put a collection view inside a pop-up? But fair enough. People are doing it. And it is messing with the selection changed event. So as folks may remember, for pop-ups, we have an option that you can dismiss the pop-up by tapping outside of it. And to do that, we use a there we go. We use a tap gesture recognizer on your on the pop-up that we create for you. So we can tell if you're tapping on the pop-up or outside of the pop-up. And this PR is actually super, super simple. The files up here is he's adding an example to the sample app, which is awesome. I always love that, so that we can make sure there's no regressions in the future. But yeah, all he's doing is in this PR is changing the tap gesture recognizer to pointer gesture recognizer. And this does fix the problem. This absolutely fixes the bug that's been reported in 3 different issues now. But I kind of agree with Sean. So Sean pulled up the docs for pointer gesture recognition, and it looks like the reason this works is that there is no pointer gesture recognition for iOS, only Android, iPad, Mac Catalyst, and Windows. And because this bug only happens on iOS, that switching to pointer instead of tap works. But to me, it feels like this is an easy workaround in the sense that you only have to change basically 1 line of code. But to me, it doesn't feel like the right way of doing it, because we're essentially taking advantage of the fact that pointer gesture recognizer isn't supported on iOS. And so I don't know. What do you guys like? This one feels
a bit hacky to me.
Yeah. Okay.
If I'm honest, and it's if iOS or Apple and iOS then implement pointer gesture, like, you know, we're gonna have to come back and review again. So yeah, it just feels a bit not sure.
Yeah.
And why this issue is not happen on Android? If we use a pointer recognition or tap recognition recognizer, so looks like replacing one recognizer with another like shouldn't solve the issue.
Yeah, because essentially this just makes the tap gesture recognizer disappear on iOS. So yeah, I love the initiative. I'll always love anytime somebody opens up a PR to fix an issue instead of asking us when we're going to fix it, because we can review your PR a lot faster than we can fix the issue for you. But yeah, I don't know. Do either of you want to volunteer to kind of dig into the root cause of this issue and see if there's a better workaround?
I'm just trying to think of a way you could do it, but
can it be handled by like transparent click when you like input transparent, or how it's called, when you click and allow the click on the background control under the one? I think it's.
I suppose what it's doing is swallowing the tap gesture, isn't it? So the pop-up isn't getting the tap gesture because the collection view is taking it, which means the pop-up, or is it the other way around? I can't remember which way around. One's in front of the other, isn't it? So
yeah, it looks like for some reason there's this 3 seconds.
It's like a long
for selection change.
Yeah, it's a long click, push, isn't it?
Long click event that is not handled by pop-up, but handled by collection view for selection.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree. I think the way forward with this is to look into, like, is it something we're doing, or is this actually a bug in MAUI? Like, is something we're doing conflicting with something internal in MAUI, and there's different expectations between us? But
well, it's probably not MAUI issue, just because our gesture or pop-up at all, it's over the whole control. So our cache is above the all elements, and that is why it executes first. Only after that, all other tabs executed. So something like that. But but on the other hand, for example, if it's not a collection view but button, it is clickable. So why selection doesn't work?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm curious into, Vlad. Is like why doesn't selection changed fire? And then yeah, let's go from there instead of just saying, well, it doesn't work on iOS, so let's create a solution or let's update our solution so that it just doesn't exist on iOS. So actually, I was scrolling down because one of the reasons I want to bring this up, like you can see how much conversation has been going on in this. So there's a lot of people who this is affecting. And I see Sean actually said he might look at it this week. So maybe we'll follow up with Sean internally and see if he's figured anything out.
I think it's got to be a layer issue, like the collection view swallowing the selection change. It's not reaching the pop up or the other way around. So it just needs to be passed through, maybe.
Yeah.
So I remember having a similar issue. I think it was on Android on a project where they needed a collection view inside a collection view. And I know you should never do that sort of thing, but that's what the designer come up with. That's what they wanted, and I was the smart that had to go and make it work, and end up having to really work hard to get a collection view, the first collection view, to pass its taps and swipes. Yeah, I think it was the horizontal swipe had to pass through to the second one so that it got the horizontal, but the vertical swipe swallow it and not pass through to the second one. So I could then swipe both ways. But designers are horrible because they make these designs that look pretty. The business says, yeah, that's what we want. And you got to go and implement it. And it took quite a while to get that to work. But I remember it being the gestures weren't being passed through. So I had to swallow one and pass the other one and then the other way around for the other thing. So it could be that. But if it doesn't get looked into, I might find some time next week and look into it myself as well.
All right, awesome,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, as for this issue, the only weird thing that it only happens on iOS, and only happens with this specific version, and didn't happen with the previous one. For example, 12.1, where we also had a pop-up. So it sounds like we already have this issue. We already fixed that issue, and once again we have a regression and reintroduce that issue again.
Yeah,
so
it was probably because so Sean and I
V2.
Well,
wasn't that when we made pop-ups version 2?
Well,
I think it was version 12. It was a major release.
Yeah, it was a major release, not a feature release. But my guess is that we used to do something when Sean first did Pop-Up V2. He added a box view. So let's check it out. We got a little bit of time. There used to be, if not still currently, a box view created on the pop-up page. And that box view was what was tappable. So let's see, somewhere down here is a grid.
The only also thing that I want to add that we use only MAUI controls. We do not introduce our own handlers, our own implementation. So that is why everything should work out of the box without some custom mixes or mix of our gestures, right? The order that we add. So that is why the issue looks really weird and why it happens.
Yeah, I agree. That was my first thought too, Vlad. I was like, we migrated to using MAUI controls instead of custom controls to avoid crazy stuff like this. But yeah, it looks like we've removed that box view. So I'll bet that was the big change in 12. 2.0 that they're seeing, and I forget off the top of my head.
It was an issue with shadow or background color, that it was something like black or transparent. So like default MAUI styles had an override over background, like that background was black instead of like or transparent or whatever color we choose.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like in the default MAUI template, they color the box view a certain color, and by default, so we just broke that for everybody by accident. Okay, cool. Let's see what Cliff, if you're able to find out anything, I'll ping Sean internally, see if he's got any progress. But cool. I just, like I said, wanted to make sure I wasn't going crazy when I saw this PR. I was like, oh, like, I don't know, like it fixes it, but what if pointer gesture recognizer changes in the future? Then we just gave ourselves a future bug. So that sounds like a good path forward.
Foldable iPhone that is probably coming next year with a larger screen, like an iPad. We'll see what Apple will implement there. So who knows? Maybe it is a workaround for less than a year.
And I just heard today Samsung's working on a 3-screen foldable. They just announced it. So, jeez.
And they showed that at one of the big tech conferences a year or two ago.
Did they really? Like the trifold?
Yeah, they showed it off as an iPad that folded up to be the size of a phone. I remember seeing pictures of it, and it was like, this is just kind of a demo of what we could do. But, yeah.
Yep. So to round things off today, this is actually this is discussion fairly hot off the presses, but it goes back to this way more in-depth conversation that started earlier this year about adding in-app billing to the community toolkit, because James had archived his in-app billing plugin, albeit he just merged a commit yesterday to add .NET 10 support. So maybe it'll live on for another year. But I stumbled upon a new library. So if you scroll all the way down here, there's a new library recently released where another community member is taking over the mantle and created iApp Hub. And I will say I haven't tried it yet, but the docs look good. The code on the surface looks good. And so what I did yesterday was I went ahead and commented here, and then went ahead and closed this discussion. Also because, speaking of James, he chimed in and said, I highly recommend not putting this into the toolkit. So if the person with probably the most experience with in-app billing plugins doesn't recommend it, and now that another open source NuGet package exists, then it's like, all right, I think we can close this. But the other reason why I wanted to bring this up today was so not only to just announce this new in-app billing plugin library, which looks great on the surface, but another community member, Lindsay Miles here, said that they also saw it, but that the new one, there we go, only covers iOS and Android. And so I guess they must have or it reads here that they have a Windows app that I guess James's plugin does support Windows and this new one doesn't yet. So they were linking to inside of MAUI samples. Gerald's just updated the .NET 10 samples to include a billing service here. So there's also code in here that also has a Windows implementation, and that might work for you too. So that was kind of all. I wanted to kind of share this new NuGet package with the world, but also we tend to take the approach that I included a link here to Sherlocking in case somebody wasn't familiar with the term, but basically, if an open source library exists, then we don't want to duplicate that feature in the toolkit because somebody already put a lot of work into it, and we don't want to, Sherlock them, which comes from, I think this article talks about Apple doing it back in the day, or I mean, they're still doing it, but
yeah.
But basically, yeah, avoiding duplicating, and then also because our library is also included in the .NET MAUI templates now, we don't want to essentially nerf somebody else's hard work because, for a lot of reasons.
They should get the kudos and the pat on the back for putting together an awesome library. Assuming it's awesome and it works, I can't see any reason why I wouldn't. But the open source community, we shouldn't all be clambering over each other to get to the same kind of end goal. If someone's done it, let them do that, and we'll carry on doing what we're doing. So that's for us to maintain.
Yeah. So everybody go try it. Go check out the in-app hub for .NET. Let us know what you think. Let them know what you think. But I would at least...
I'm sure Gerald will be along shortly with a video on how it works.
But yeah, come in here, start this library. Here, I'll drop it in the comments so you don't even have to go look for it. Boom. But with that, I believe...
I can add, while James updated his library for probably another year, I think it makes sense for Windows to use his library in app building. In case you need Android and iOS, probably just use this new one, and that's it.
Yeah, and I'm sure because this new library, like this is hot off the presses. Last week, actually, let's see when the NuGet package was published. Yeah, so just 8 days ago. So I'm sure if you open up an issue or if somebody opens up a pull request adding Windows support, that the maintainer will happily add it in. But yeah, that one, actually, I found that on Reddit. There was the .NET MAUI subreddit. Someone posted this and it's like, oh, no way. Like, finally. This is exactly what the community needs. So start it, go check it out, fork it, open up pull requests, all that fun stuff. Anything else? Cliff, Vlad?
No.
Probably only question. Yeah, I have probably only one question about bindable properties. And probably last month we discussed about validation. I don't remember if it's related to that one or not, or if you discussed it today or not. But what is it? Yeah. So, what is the right way to validate it?
Yeah. I don't know if that example I have is still up. So we did chat about this before you jumped on, Vlad. Let's see. Oh, cool. So yeah, long story short, what I learned going through this, well, first, apologies to everybody. Last month I said that the validation doesn't work. It turns out validate totally does validate, but it fails silently. So what I learned, Vlad, was when you change the value on a bindable property, the first method that runs is validate value, which returns a bool. And if that boolean is false, then the property just doesn't change. .NET MAUI internally writes to the trace log and says that it's like a super generic method just saying like unable to update property. I don't even know if it includes the property name or not, but it definitely doesn't include any specifications about like why is the property invalid. And so for us, the way we had designed our properties before with this method of, we were checking the value. So we're saying like, if the value is greater than 5, then throw So this was how our existing property was. And then obviously if it's not, field equals value. So since this is the way our existing properties were set up for, well, I think this is specific to rating view. Since we were validating and throwing before setting, to maintain that, what we did was in property changing is where we do the validation now. So we'll still throw an exception instead of failing silently. And that was to ensure that there wasn't a breaking change to the way folks were, or a breaking change to the library affecting folks that are using it. So we could slide in the bindable property attributes, hopefully not change anything underneath. But yeah, so again, .NET MAUI runs validate value first. If it returns false, then it writes a message to the trace log and then just returns. If validate is true, then property changing fires. So it's like, hey, I'm about to change the value on this field. You ready? And then after it sets the value on the field, then property changed runs. So the place where we put that validation in rating view is in the property changing, so that we throw before the property actually gets changed. And
sorry, I still don't understand why we don't throw the exception in validation method. What if we throw exception there?
Because I never thought of that until you just said it right now.
Yeah, I think if we have a specific method from MAUI directly for validation, if it doesn't send the value, we can just validate there. If something wrong, there are two ways. We can allow users to throw exception and even handle, like we have with behaviors and converters, should we throw exception or not? And if it's invalid value and user sets a press exception, we can not throw it and just keep the existing value. If it's not suppress exception, we can just throw it, and that is the same behavior that will exist. And we have a specific method. We do not need to override on property changing, and we directly call it for, and actually it's a validation step. Probably it's more right way.
I do think that doing it in the validation is better, but wasn't there, I seem to remember, Brandon, there was an issue with it not working correctly.
That was me being wrong. I said that last month because I didn't expect it to fail silently. And so when I was testing out validate, this is a long time ago, I was like, it's not working. Like the validation's returning false, but then, I'm not seeing an exception. I'm not seeing an error message. And so, I was just wrong. but yeah, Vlad, I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, fundamentally the way things are today with it going to validate, then changing, then changed in that order, we're accomplishing the same thing. We're preventing the field from being set, and we're throwing the exception. But I agree, if there's a method called validate, why don't we validate in there? Okay, yeah, I'm down for that. And then, I can also see us having a good discussion, maybe in a future stand-up, where we chat about, like, do we want to throw exceptions, or now that the code would all be in the validation method,
I think today we already have an issue, new issue created, that argument null exception is called. It's just created today before the stand-up. So probably some users do not expect exceptions that they cannot catch.
Yeah, I saw the issue. I know the one you're talking about. I think there's actually a pull request open that removes that already. But the the big issue that I see is that if you're writing your code in XAML and you don't pass in a value to a string, so like let's say you have an entry text, well, by default that string for text is going to be null. And yeah, when that percolates down into that, I think this is the numeric behavior validator that the issue is specifically talking about. Yeah, because like when we get null, we can't validate it because what's a null number? Is that valid? And so, the issue is saying like, no, just return false. And it's like, well, is it? Is it not valid? Like maybe false is valid, or maybe null is valid for some folks. And I remember when we created that behavior, the idea was like, we need a number. We need an actual number that we can validate so that we can give you true or false. Otherwise, I don't know what to do for null, but yeah, it does kind of hurt that onboarding experience because you'll write your code, you run the app for the first time, and all of a sudden, boom, your app crashes because it's a null. And so it's a quick feedback loop, but obviously not fun.
Users sorry for interrupting. Can we allow users to override the behavior of the properties that we implement, like their own validation, if they want to not throw exception or have some custom validation?
Yeah, actually,
I think it's probably another bindable property or something like that. So bindable property for bindable property, but
yeah, because we have that base validator. There we go, validation behavior. We have bindable properties in here. Oh no, I did I did all the behavior bindable properties and I totally missed this. Okay, note to self, fix that. But yeah, we could always add in something here like maybe it's an abstract method or yeah, something like that says like, what's your expected default behavior for null? Actually, yeah, that's probably the way to fix it, huh? Because we don't know how to validate null is the problem. And maybe a user thinks null is valid and maybe a different user thinks null is not. So true versus false. But yeah, I really like that idea, Vlad. I think that's exactly how to fix that bug.
Cool.
What? Do you want to do it? I'll review it. Maybe not. That's okay. Okay. That sounds good. I forgot how we got on to this subject, but I'm glad we did. Oh yeah, the validation method. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So yeah, a couple takeaways will be, Cliff, let's have you circle up with Sean on that pop-up collection view 3-second tap. See if Sean's already dug into it. I'll review and, assuming it works, merge James's Android service update for Media Element. And
just in the chat, George has pointed out that next month's stand-up would be on the 1st.
Oh.
So, let's maybe go for the second Thursday next month. So we've got time to recover maybe just a little bit.
Yes. Excellent idea. Yeah, we'll not meet on New Year's, especially. Oh man, with the time zone difference, that'd be terrible. So, okay,
it's been different years.
Crazy. Well, thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you joining. I was a little nervous. I was going to be the only one here today, and I was like, well, that's okay. I'll talk about bindable properties. So, love seeing you.
Yeah, cool. Right, hey, mustache.
Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you again on January 8th.
Yes.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.